Hi guys, this is your slope reference sheet note video. We're going to do all of this sheet in one video, and then each day you're going to have an assignment. So look on Canvas each day to find your assignment. We are going to start with slope, like what is slope? Hopefully you've kind of gotten the idea in 8th grade, but we're just going to go a little bit more in depth. Slope is described as the steepness of a line. We often say it is the rise over our run, or the change in y over change in x. This right here is the formula that you're going to need when we start talking about points. All right, we're going to start from our graph first so we can kind of see the change in slope. Okay, so from a graph, you're going to pick 2 points on that graph. You're going to count the vertical change and the horizontal change, and then we're going to write our slope as our change in y over our change in x, or our rise over our run. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pick my 2 points here. They want to be where your line perfectly passes through. So I'm going to pick that one right here and that one right here. Now, to make sure that your slope is kind of perfect, you want to keep going down. So I'm going down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. Sometimes when you do that, you'll notice that, say, if you had it as 2 over 3 and really it's 2 over 5, by that second time it's really off. So just keep checking and making sure that as you go down, your slope is continuous. It should be the same. Okay, so like I said here, my rise over my run. So I'm going down 2, so down is negative, and I'm running 1. So it's negative 2 over 1, which is really just negative 2. Down is negative, always going right. All right, so now let's talk points here. All right, so first thing we have to do is label our x and our y coordinates. So x1 and y1, x2 and y2. Now that I have them labeled, I'm going to find the change in y over the change in x. In other words, I'm going to use that little formula that we wrote in that middle section. All right, so let's do our y's first. So I'm doing 7 minus negative 4 over, because I did 7 first, I have to do negative 4 minus negative 6. 2 negatives make a positive, so I'm going to put those as positives there. 7 plus 4 is 11. Negative 4 plus 6 is 2. Please don't feel bad if you got to use a calculator for any of these. No big deal. All right, let's do our second example here. Again, I have to label them x1 and y1, x2 and y2. And I'm just going to do the same thing of subtracting. So I'm doing 9 minus 5. Because I did my 9 first, I have to do 1 minus 10. 9 minus 5 is 4. 1 minus 10 is negative 9. So my answer is negative 4/9. If you can reduce any of these, please reduce your slope. All right, next we're going to talk tables. Oh, we'll see here. There we go. All right, so when we're talking tables, tables is the change in your x. You're going to find the change in your y, and then you're going to, again, write your slope as change in y over your change in x. So when you do this, you're going to pick any 2 points. The first 2 points are always nice to use, because then you know every time you're good. Use the first 2 points. Going from 10 to 20, I added 10. From 5 to 2, I minused 3. So I'm going to write it as the change in y. So my change in y was negative 3 over my change in x, which was 10. Again, if you can, reduce your fraction. We're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to use my first 2 points. It shouldn't matter what points you use, but here we go. From negative 3 to negative 5, I am adding 2. From 9 to 4, I'm minusing 5. Again, we're going to write it as a change in y over our change in x. Negative 5 over 2. Last section we're going to talk about is finding slope from an equation. We're going to solve for y. Once we solve for y, slope is our rate of change. Thus, it is next to our x. So when we get it into y equals mx plus b form, which we're going to talk more about in next semester, but again, you should have kind of touched on this in 8th grade, m is going to be that slope. So we're going to find what that number is next to x, and that is our slope. So here, this one is already given to us as 3 over 5. Y is by itself, so my slope here is 3 over 5. Here my y is not by itself, so I have to go ahead and solve for y. To get y by itself, I have to minus 2x to both sides. Going to bring down that 3y. Negative 2x plus 12. Y is not by itself yet, so I have to divide every term by 3. So I get y equals, I'm not going to change this into a decimal, so I'm going to leave it as 2 over 3x. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So that's my y equals equation. Now we got to talk what my slope is. Again, slope is that number next to x. So here it's negative 2 over 3. All right, that concludes today's notes. Feel free to go back and watch again, take your notes, and then use this for each of our practices. If you have any questions, please let me know.